Welcome to my second podcast. Yesterday I posted my first one and I really liked the result. And I thought, let's make a second podcast the day after. And this podcast is called Gratitude Equals Happiness. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Let's start off with the first point. I meet a lot of people in real life, and when I go on TikTok, sometimes I'm not much on social media. I see that so many people are struggling keeping their head above waters because they simply have no other option. And I've come to find that the people who seem the happiest from the outside are often struggling the most, especially on social media. So always try to be compassionate because you never know what people might be dealing with. Let's go to the second point. Let's talk about my experience with gratitude, my story, how gratitude saved my life in my darkest days and still is when I feel bad. Every time I just feel bad, I just start practicing gratitude, and I will talk about what I mean by that, how I do it. For me, a grateful attitude towards life is everything. And I know gratitude might be stigmatized for everyone. They think maybe they think about Christianity or maybe it doesn't have this very positive image for you. But I want to tell you, you cannot find a better attitude towards life if your goal is to be happy. And if you combine that with integrity, which I'm going to talk about in my next podcast, I think, or in the one after that. Integrity is also very important. With integrity, I basically mean just really be honest with who you are and what you feel about the world. Because if you're not yourself, your system is going to, feeling bad is basically just your body sending a signal whatever you're doing right now is not you and it's not making you happy, so change what you're doing. That's basically what your body is saying with those bad emotions. So let's go to the third point. We live in a time where we are relatively spoiled if you look at how how your ancestors lived in the past. Now, I give you a small example. If you want to go from point A to point B, in the old days they had to go on foot or maybe with a horse in the cold, and it was so difficult. And now you just grab your car, you go from point A to point B. Another example is if you want to have some food, all you have to do is earn some money. You sit behind your computer, you order it, and then they deliver the food. That is basically how kings lived in the old days. So we live in a very privileged times, and we are relatively spoiled if you compare it with how people lived in the old days. But the problem of that is we most people see almost everything as a given. So where can that people expect being happy just doing what they do, but where can the happiness come from if we see almost everything as a given? Some people might say we are grateful for something, but do we really feel it, or is it just something in your head? And I will tell you how to actually feel it. But my point with this third point I'm covering in this podcast is basically where can the happiness come from if we see everything as a given? What is so special about, for example, having a roof over my head, or being able to eat whatever I want, or having a job, or loving parents, or loving friends? And I can keep going for hours about the things most people have but are not grateful for. Let's go to the fourth point, which is, have you ever realized, out of my experience, I'm 36 right now, so I have some life experience. You ever realize, no matter what you do, what you achieve, you can't seem to grasp that happy feeling you're after? And I want to tell you that you can achieve all you want. I had so many goals and I achieved all of them, and I expected this euphoric moment where I felt fantastic, and then I achieved it and I was like, what's the big deal? And what I want to tell you is practicing gratitude will give you that feeling you're after and much more. Now let's go to the fifth point, and this podcast is not going to be that long. It's going to be a very short one because there's not much to cover, at least from my point of view. I like podcasts which are straight to the point and just give me the information I want to hear. So this podcast is going to be like 10 minutes. So let's go to the fifth point of this podcast, which is there are basically three main attitudes to have in life. Let's start with the first one, and this is where most people are. Most people see whatever they have as a given, or sometimes condemning it, which is even worse. They're like, I don't like my job, I don't like the car I have, I don't like the friends I have. And that attitude, seeing things as a given or condemning what you have, what is your life right now, results in being either not that particularly happy. It could be the case that you're not depressed, but you're not particularly happy. But in a lot of cases, it results in just being unhappy, and in worst cases, depressed or even worse. That was the first main attitude to have towards life, which most people have, and I had too, but I changed that for myself. Let's go to the second attitude to have towards life, which is where a lot of spiritual traditions talk about this. They talk about, which is basically meditation. They say just accept whatever your life is. Just accept it. Don't resist what your life is, but because that is futile. And that is basically what you do too when you meditate. You close your eyes, you just don't resist anything, you let the thoughts come, whatever thoughts may be, and you just accept everything for what it is. And that approach towards life, mental attitude towards life, gives you peace. Like when I was younger, I meditated a lot, and I gave a couple of meditation workshops at my university too. And I always thought like meditation is really where it's at. Although it gives you a lot of, again, peace, it gives you this just peace of mind and this peaceful feeling. This third mental attitude to have towards life is really where it's at for me. And you can combine actually the second and third point, which is like the second was accepting what is, which is like meditation. And the third one is being grateful for whatever your life is. So the trick is to put your focus on what you have right now in life and any positive development in your life. Because most people, and I also am dealing with this a lot of times, did you ever notice how your mind tends to always focus on a couple of things you don't have, and like 99% of the time, 99% of your day, you're focusing on that. Like, why don't I have this? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have this? And that's basically where that feeling of unhappiness comes from. Or maybe you feel like, man, I'm not happy, I'm not depressed either, something in between. But the trick is the best attitude to have if you really want to be happy and joyful. Like, how many people can really say they're joyful? And there was this interesting research where they asked thousands of people. There was this group that practiced meditation, and I will tell you in a second what I mean with practice meditation. And there was this group that didn't practice meditation. And what they find, they ask these people, like, how joyful are you in life? And the results were that the people who practice meditation were the only ones that said we are joyful, and the ones that did not say they were joyful. Those are huge results. That means that joyfulness and gratitude are linked. The one equals the other. And the mistake most people make is, when I'm happy and joyful, I will be grateful. But it's the other way around. Be grateful and you will experience happiness and joy. So the best attitude to have is to be grateful. Now let's, excuse me. Let's go to the last point. And the last point is about how to actually practice gratitude. One of the main ways I found out how to practice gratitude is to buy a gratitude journal, or it could also be just a journal with blank pages, and you start putting your focus on what you have, and you start each sentence with "I am so grateful for." Whatever it may be, a roof over my head, the fact that for example, I'm sitting in front of a computer that was like 3,000 euros. That's something to be grateful for, with 2 monitors. The fact that I have loving parents, the fact that I have loving friends. You can keep going for hours. You can even go as far as, I heard someone say, like, I am grateful for the fact that I have 2 legs, because some people, you ever had, like, when you see someone who's missing a leg, and at that point you realize how blessed you really are? You can even go as far as that, or being grateful for water or whatever. But what I recommend is to start off with other things. If you can do that, like being grateful for the fact that you have 2 legs, 2 arms, do that. You will feel much, much happier. But you can start off with the fact that you have a roof over your head, loving parents. Some people never had loving parents. The country you live in, maybe, like, could you imagine living in a very poor country, an unprivileged country? So you can be grateful for that. And you will find that be as detailed as possible. You will find that there are so many things you have and you can be grateful for. And here's the trick. At the beginning, when I started off, it felt like a lie when I wrote down, I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head. But what is key here is repetition. If you keep reading it and writing it down, you will eventually believe it. Just like the BS, everyone to some degree has some BS in their mind, some things they told themselves, like, sometimes I see certain girls and they truly believe that they're not attractive, but they really are. And it started off with a simple thought they had, like, I am not attractive. And the first time I was like, nah, I am. But they repeated it so often that they eventually start believing it. So repetition is key here. So what I can really recommend you, like, if you're that type of person, like, that have come to realize that doesn't matter what I achieve, what I get, I can't seem to grasp that happy feeling I'm after, a joyful feeling, then I would recommend you to start practicing gratitude and get over the stigma gratitude may have for you. Just try it out and see how you feel. And I swear to God, you will feel so much happier and joyful. And I want to, I'm first going to say something else. Because happiness, and I hope people will understand this is something I've come to realize. Happiness all comes down to how much you are aligned mentally and emotionally with how much your life is right now. So I will repeat that. Happiness all comes down to how much you are aligned mentally and emotionally to whatever life is right now. And there is no better way to be in line with life than to be grateful for it. And I want to end this podcast with a little quote. It's actually more than just one quote. Gratitude and negativity cannot exist inside of you at the same time. So gratitude erases all negativity. So I wish you would try it out. It literally, when you're grateful, there is, like, those two cannot exist at the same time inside of you. Gratitude erases all negativity. And when all negativity is erased, like, gratitude changes your perception to a perception that is much better. And your perception of reality is what will change your whole life too. So I want to leave you off with this. Try it out and see for yourself, and it can really benefit your life. I have this painting in my room which says, start each day with a grateful heart. It is something that is at the center of my life. And although I do it now whenever I feel bad, there are moments too where I do it every day. Like, when I feel good, I still do it, and I feel even better. My name is Payam Karbor. Thanks for listening to my second podcast, and I will see you in the next one.